Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for being here. So excited for tonight's video. Going to be talking about marriage and why marriage is important, especially in families. If you have family, if you have kids, marriage is super important to do that inner work. Of course, you have to find the right person to marry, someone that you can trust, someone that you feel safe with, that you can be vulnerable with. But if you have kids, hopefully you're married before you have kids. However, that doesn't always happen. It didn't happen for me with either of my kids. I got married after them, and that was because I was, maybe much like yourself, very scared for marriage, very unsure of it. Just had to make sure I was absolutely 110% sure that this was a person I wanted to marry for the rest of my life, because I only planned on doing this once and never doing it again. So that was really important for me to be sure. And I hear so much in today's world and society of people saying things like, oh, we don't believe in marriage, or we never believed in marriage, or we don't want to ever get married, and all of that. What I hear from that is that they are scared of marriage, that they are unsure of who to trust, and unsure if they can trust themselves. And I was much like that myself for a long time, until I could be sure of what the benefits of marriage were. I had to really understand where that point was coming from. And so, again, if you have kids, it's really important to do your inner work, self work, and make sure you can find someone that you trust and can be safe with and vulnerable with, and protects you and your kids if you're a female, in a heterosexual relationship. Not everybody is that, and not everybody wants to get married, and not everybody that has kids is married. And I would say that's okay for the most part, but I know what it does to kids, and it does leave them a little bit damaged or confused on how to ever foresee themselves in a future relationship or marriage. So it's really important to set a solid foundation for children. They really need to know, when things get tough, that mom and dad just aren't going to split or leave houses. And a lot of times it's much easier to just split and leave houses, or not work it out the hard way, if you're not married. Not to say like, oh, that marriage is gonna be the ultimate factor, but it is going to, I think, make both parties work a lot harder than they normally would, just given a relationship. And some people, they don't understand that fact about that when they just go off and have kids, not knowing if that person is going to, the other partner is going to be the right support for them for the rest of their lives. And so at that point, families break up, which leads to, broken families, broken children, not completely broken, but I mean, their whole world has changed, or now they're going back and forth between households. And my oldest experiences this, and that is very hard on her to do that. And she's lucky that she has both parents and families that are involved in her life and care about her so much. And that's something I remind her of often when the back and forth does, get to be a lot or overwhelming. It's just a good reminder to talk with them about the benefits, or how lucky that they are to have two families. And so I'm not condemning or judging you if this has happened to you. This has happened to me, and I have learned why it is important to think that marriage is important. And I never did. um, until, again, I had a really good frame view of why it is important, which I'm explaining. Setting a solid foundation for your children, so they don't wind up with broken families and broken homes, and then these kids, such as myself, grow up unable to trust other people or themselves. They don't know how to love or forgive themselves or other people because you're always wanting to protect yourself. You think it's just a matter of time before the other person runs or hurts you or leaves you, abandons you, rejects you. All of those kinds of feelings could come up due to separation or divorce of kids' parents if they're not really careful and don't talk with them. And aren't really transparent with them about the real reasons about why that happened, and or giving them a real life good example of what a solid foundation does look like so they can see what love is supposed to be like. Because like I said, kids will be unable or unsure how to trust, love, and be vulnerable themselves. So it takes kids. They're not damaged forever. They can be resilient. Obviously, like myself, I'm a very resilient person. Have able to come back from a lot of hardship or adversity in terms of not seeing a great examples of relationships or marriages at all growing up. I saw a lot of infidelity going on, and a lot of in and outs, which really gave me a lot of trust issues growing up and in the future, and presently and currently. It's something I still work on, to know that my past experiences aren't what current people are going to do to me. So yeah, it takes a lot. So kids aren't damaged forever, but it does take a great deal of healing work to take place. And I think that parents, if this does happen to you, where you do separate with your kid's parent, that you should be transparent with them about the love that each side has. Never talking bad about the other parent in front of your kids, and preferably not at all. There's not a lot of good that can come from talking negatively about the other person. It's better to spend your time talking about solutions of how to make things better for your child at that hand. You know, you have a common purpose there is your child, and you should be focused on that common purpose, which is your child's well-being and not your own selfish emotions that may be going on. Even though I know at first it is hard and there are intense emotions and figuring out the schedules and figuring out holidays, and sometimes it does still get hard. But just forgive yourself, and a lot of people do have to deal with that. So yes, talk to your kids about love and about relationships, how it's supposed to look like, how to love, how to find a good love or relationship. Guide them, guide your children into the right direction, and more importantly, remind them of their worth. I think that's something growing up, especially, I wish that my parents or other people would have reminded me of my worth, because I was looking for love in all the wrong places, and I wasn't really being talked to about what a healthy relationship looked like, or who was a good type of person to be in a relationship with. I was just really figuring it all out on my own. So it would have been good, and I think it would be good to have more guidance from parents on, again, the types of relationships, the types of love, and remind them of their worth. They might be getting on your nerves and not cleaning their rooms or being on time to things or whatever it is that these, teenagers get on your nerves for. But remind them of their intrinsic worth and value, and how you would want to see someone treat them, and really talk to them about that. Because once they can hear that and see that, hopefully they're going to be drawn to that, or some of that's going to stick. And at some point, they will look for people with those qualities. And if you can have a good relationship with your child, that's also going to help. One of my favorite sayings is rules without respect. Um, rules without respect equals defiancy, basically. Or wait, rules without relationship. I'm gonna have to figure out what that quote is. But basically, if you have rules without a relationship, you're going to not get respect. But if you have a relationship with rules, you're going to get respect. So instead of just telling kids, your teenagers, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't see this person, instead try working on having a relationship with them, taking them out to eat or going to a movie with them, going on a walk with them, spending any kind of quality time that you can, building that relationship, and incorporate some of those conversations in there, such as, what a good relationship looks like, what, you think a good relationship is, what's not a good relationship, or, what they're doing good. Try and keep it positive, breathe life into them where they want to be around you and they feel uplifted by you. Because the more you uplift your kids, the more they're going to feel that themselves, and hopefully attract more people that uplift them or are bringing them to a higher place in life, and not people that are bringing them down or being, depressed, or, in that more lower vibrational realm that teenagers just kind of, I think, dwell in general. So, but just plant those seeds, and I think they will grow and bloom and blossom. It's just something, you have to continually be talking about. It's a continuous conversation, as should many things in parenthood, whether it's what they're doing online with social media, their friends, who they're hanging out with, what they're doing, their interest. It has to be a continuous conversation, just like in any relationship. As they grow, they're changing, and it should be something, you continue to ask about, go into depth about with them as much as they, will let you, and just act interested in their life, because just because you think you know them, they're changing every day, every year, every semester. So are your friends and your family. So it's always good to get to know people with where they're at currently, because people change, people's heart changes, but their beliefs change. I know mine has so much in the past, even 5 years, from 25 to 30. It's like I'm a whole different person from being like super like liberal as you can be, to really much more on the conservative side now of family, God, and really understanding what the value is behind those things. And so I hope this video helped you guys understand the importance of marriage in families with kids, and why the saying, oh, I don't believe in marriage, why it's just really an outdated way to think, and a really lower vibrational, protective place to be in. You're not being vulnerable or open to love if that's the kind of mentality you work with throughout your life, is seeing no value in building a strong foundation with another person, because it's only going to grow your guys' relationship if you truly are, a good compatible match for each other. There's really only more can grow from that solid foundation, as opposed to just dating and not being able to say that you are married. It is a big deal, especially if you have kids. So I hope that video helps you guys. If you agree with it, cool. If not, I totally respect your opinion. Thank you so much for watching this. Hope you all are having a great night, and I'll do more videos like this with kid topics, marriage topics, all about it. It's what I'm here for. Thank you guys so much. Love you all. God bless. Good night. Bye-bye.